The pumpkin pillow. I am so excited about this pumpkin pillow. I've been dying to make something with these pumpkin inlay squares since we did the pumpkin inlay video. I think it was in October last month. And so this is going to be awesome. I was like, okay, what's a quick project I could make with all of these pumpkin inlay squares? A pillow was perfect. So put them all together. The back of the pillow is solid, but you're more than welcome to do the pumpkin squares on both sides if you choose to. Now in this video, I'm not showing you how to make the pumpkin inlay square. I used the exact square that we made in the pumpkin inlay video. So just refer back to that video to make your pumpkin inlay squares. And in this video, we're making the border around the square, joining the squares, and then adding the back to it. And I'm walking you through how I do all of those things. The level of this project, just putting the pieces together, is probably an advanced beginner level, even easy. But when it comes to making the pumpkin inlay squares, that throws it into the intermediate category because we used Intarsia for these pumpkin inlays. If you wanted to replace these pumpkin inlays and just have a different square, then yes, this would probably be an advanced beginner project. The terminology I'm using, and all of my instructions for the stitches, it's all US terminology. And the dimensions of the pillow is really, I'm going to leave that open-ended because I'm going to show you in the tutorial itself that you can take this process and apply it to any size pillow that you may have at home or have available to you. And so my pumpkin pillow ended up measuring 18 inches wide by 18 inches tall, but that was just the pillow form that I had available. You can obviously do lots of adjustments, which would change the dimensions. And then the pattern for the pumpkin pillow you can find on my website, crochetwithtiffany.com. I'll have a link in the description section and comment section below that will take you straight to the pattern on my website where you can print it off and be ready to crochet with me. And I will include the pumpkin inlay pattern in the pumpkin pillow pattern. So if you already have the pumpkin inlay pattern, that's great. But if you don't, then you don't have to get both patterns. I'm going to have the pumpkin inlay pattern in with the pumpkin pillow pattern. Okay, I wanted to make sure that was clear. All right, when you're ready to go, let's go ahead and dive into what materials I used to make the pumpkin pillow. Materials, what I used to make this pumpkin pillow. I'm going to start with probably the most important part, and that is the pillow form. This pillow form, which is basically just the pillow insert that we will place inside the pillow, mine is 18 inches wide by 18 inches long. Feel free to get whatever pillow size you want though. I'm going to show you in the tutorial how to figure out how many squares you're going to need to make based on whatever size pillow you're working with, okay? And so maybe you can use something around your house, repurpose something, or if you want to go purchase something, you know, you have flexibility there. The yarn that I'm using is the exact same yarn that I used in the pumpkin inlay video where I showed you how to make the little pumpkins and the squares. I'll put the link to that video in the description section for you to click on if you want fast access. But the materials, I used the exact same materials. So I love this yarn in the color Burnt Pumpkin. Loops and Threads Impeccable yarn in the color Deep Forest. And then this little scrap right here is what I have left of the skein. So it wasn't a full skein, but what I have left here I used dominantly was Loops and Threads Impeccable in the color Aran. Okay, I don't have the exact amount of yarn available for you because I'm leaving this tutorial open-ended for you to use, for you to make whatever size you want. There's a lot of variations that you can make. The crochet hook that I am using is an H8 or 5mm crochet hook. You'll need a pair of scissors, a yarn needle, tapestry needle. There's going to be a lot of ends to weave in. The tape measure is going to be super helpful, especially when it comes to making different sizes of pillow or when it comes to making sure you're hitting dimension. You're going to be referring to the dimension a lot. And then stitch markers are going to come in handy because we are going to be joining the squares together and it will help us to make sure there's no shifting in the pieces as we are joining them together. Okay, I'm going to have links to everything here in the description section and comment section below. So if you just want to get your hands on anything specifically I have here, just click on that link, purchase the item, and have it shipped directly to you out of ease and convenience. Otherwise, if you have stuff at home and you're ready to dive in, let's get started making our pumpkin pillow. We're going to begin by taking our pillow form. Whatever size you got, whatever you found, let's start there, okay? You may also want to have a piece of paper and a pen or pencil on hand so you can write down information, write down dimension. That way you have numbers to refer back to instead of having to constantly remeasure. So my pillow form here is 18 inches wide by 18 inches long. Okay, so we are making the pumpkin pillow utilizing these cute little pumpkin squares that we made in the pumpkin inlay video. These little pumpkin squares measure about 4 inches wide by about 4 inches long. How many squares will fit into my pumpkin? Okay, so I know 4 of these in a row next to each other will be 16 inches. We will go ahead and fill in the extra 2 inches that we need to meet width dimension by making a border around each square, and that will add a little extra length, pushing them out a little extra so we can meet dimension. So 4 long, 4 wide, filling in all of the holes for the pillow. That leaves me with a total of 16 pumpkin squares that I have to make in order to make a pillow cover. Perfect. So if you would like to just move forward in the video and then make your squares after watching the video, but you just want to kind of know my process, that's awesome. Let's go ahead and move on. So here I have all of the squares that I need to make the front panel of my pillow, because I'm just going to go ahead and put these pumpkin squares on the front panel. If you want pumpkin squares on both sides of your pillow, then just double this up. We're making 1 panel and you'll just make 2 of these and then you'll join them together. Okay. All right. So next thing I want to do is I want to make, personally, I needed more room. So I want to make a border around my square. 1 single crochet border around your square will add 1/4 of an inch per side. 1/4 of an inch. That will be perfect for me because then 1/4 of an inch plus 1/4 of an inch equals 1/2 of an inch. 1/4, 1/4, 1/2. So there's 1 extra inch. 1/4, 1/4, 1/2, and then I'll have 1/4 here and 1/4 here, which will make 2 extra inches. There I go. I've met my dimension. 16 plus 2, 18. My pillow is 18 inches wide. If I needed to add even more length for my pieces to get even more out of it, or maybe you just wanted to have more space between your pumpkins, every round of single crochet stitches for your border adds 1/4 of an inch per side. So total 1/2 of an inch will be added widthwise, 1/2 of an inch will be added lengthwise. So you can go ahead and take that information and do with it what you will. All right, so again, I'm going to be just doing a single crochet border around my pumpkin squares. I did not show how to do the single crochet border in the pumpkin inlay video. So I'm going to go ahead and do that here just so I don't leave any questions. I want to make sure all possible questions would be answered. So grabbing my crochet hook, I'm choosing the color orange for my design to go around my pumpkins. I'm going to do something really cool. So I'm going to go ahead and make a border with the orange color, and then to make the pillow really pop, I'm going to take the green color and I'm going to do my join with the green. I think it'll look really, really cool. Okay, so we will begin by slip stitching into the top corner. So slip stitch, that just attaches the yarn to the project. Then we chain 1, single crochet in the first stitch space and make 1 single crochet stitch all the way across the top. In that last stitch space or corner stitch space, make 3 single crochet stitches. And then I'll pause there. I'll show you how to work the side because I know sides can be a little tricky for some people. So working 1 single crochet across, last stitch space, making 3 single crochet stitches in that same stitch to smoothly get us to the next side of the work. We are now looking at the first side. We're going to make 1 single crochet stitch in the side of every row. So by this point, we should all know that this line right here, this specific indent here, this indent here, means that there are 2 rows in between each indent. So you need to make sure you have 2 single crochet stitches in the side of each one of these sections. That 3rd single crochet stitch does count as our very first single crochet stitch and works the side of that row. So we're going to begin with the next row down. So that would be this row right here. Also, another hint is in these squares there are 15 rows, so you should have a total of 15 single crochet stitches worked on the side of the row. Remember, the 3rd single crochet of that corner was our first, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 14, 15. Great, we are actually going to be working into that foundation row. Not because it counted as a row, but because I want to make sure I have the same number of stitches on the side of my work that I did rows to make sure I have those 15 stitches. In that last stitch space, making 3 single crochet stitches. So 1, 2, 3. Great. Working along the bottom, the foundation row. So I'm going to be working into that loop here on the bottom. So that was 1, 2, 3, 12, 13, 14. Perfect. We did have 14 stitches across. Last stitch space, I'm working 3 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, and repeating this last side the same as we did the first. So first or 3rd single crochet here was our first single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 12, 13, 14. Awesome. And then that 15th stitch here, I already have a single crochet, so I just need to make 2 more to satisfy that 3 single crochet stitches in the corner. 1, 2, and slip stitch into the top of that first single crochet to close round 1 of our border. And that's what my square is now looking at. It's so cute. Okay, I only need 1 round of border so that way I can meet dimension of my pillow form. So I'm done. And I need to stop actually because if I grow any more, my pillow panel, front panel will be too big. If you want to continue on, all you would do is chain 1 and then repeat what we just did for a single crochet border. If you need more assistance on making a single crochet border, I have a video that will help you to grow row after row after row to see what to expect and how to make that work. I'll put that in the cards and the description section below. Yarn over, pull through, tie, or pull tight for a tie off. Great. So I'm going to take more than a second. I was going to say I'm going to take a second, but I'm going to take a little bit of time here. I'm going to put a single crochet border around all 15 other squares that I have here. So I have a total of 16 squares ready to go. When I am done, I will come back here and we will go ahead and join all of our squares together. All of our squares now have borders around them. If you wanted to make sure you didn't have a border around your squares because maybe you were just at dimension, like I mentioned, if your pillow form was 16 inches wide and each of these pumpkin squares is exactly 4 inches wide and you could fit an even 4 across your pillow form, then maybe you want to just do a whip stitch to join your squares together. You could do the mattress stitch join to join your squares together. All fun joins that I'll put in the description section if you'd like that option to take a peek at. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is actually join my squares together. I'm going to join them 2 together here. Join these all the way up here, and then I'll come over and I'll join these to it and join them all the way up here. And then I'll come over here and I will join everything lengthwise or vertically. And then we'll come back and we will join horizontally. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start with just 2 rows here. Great. Oh, make sure my pumpkin is turned the right way. That would be interesting is if my pumpkins were like turned different ways. The join method that I'm going to be using is the single crochet joining method. I have a whole video on 7 different ways that you can join squares together or join items together, and you can feel free to use whatever joining method that you want. I chose the single crochet join, but you don't have to stick with that. The 3 single crochets in the corner, I'm going to insert my crochet hook into the back loop only of the middle or second single crochet stitch on one side. Then I'm going to come to the adjoining square, find the corner 3 single crochet stitches. I'm going to come from the back forward. I need to come from the back forward so that way my crochet hook will come forward. Taking my yarn, I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch just to attach the yarn to the project. Then I'm going to chain 1, insert my crochet hook back into that same back loop of each stitch. Great. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, single crochet. And then I'm going to go 1-to-1 ratio, next stitch, back loop only, come to this side, the next stitch up, the back loop only, right there. So the front loop or the loop closest to the pumpkin is left alone. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, and just continue on up. Single crochet, back loop only to join. And then I'm going to keep going, and as soon as I'm ready to attach the next 2 squares, I will show you how I go about doing that, and then you'll be able to move forward in attaching. Okay, when we come to the top, look for those 3 single crochet stitches in the corner. We are going to continue to the second or middle single crochet stitch, still working that back loop only. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. And then we are going to bring the next 2 pumpkins. Great. So this is what that single crochet join looks like, which I think is really pretty. Okay, to attach the next 2, find the corner 3 single crochet stitches, insert crochet hook into that back loop only of the second single crochet, and then find the next corner here, 3 single crochet stitches, come find that second or middle single crochet, come from the back forward of that back loop only, and then yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through for that single crochet stitch, and we are just going to continue along working this straight line all the way up. And what you're going to notice is this is how it'll look. Okay, so it will be unattached here. We still have this thin join here. When we come back to work our horizontal join, we will address that so that way everything looks neat and pretty. But what I'm going to go ahead and let you off to do is we want to work up this whole side. So attach your 8 squares here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I will meet you here at the top, show you how we will tie off, and then we will move on. Okay, last stitch here, that middle or second single crochet, just single crocheted in that last stitch there. Look at that, isn't that neat? I just absolutely love how that is turning out. So what I'm going to do now, grab my scissors, cut a long enough tail for me to weave in the end, and yarn over, pull through for a tie off. Great. Perfect. Now I'm going to go ahead and let you go so you can just continue to join the next row on. by joining these next two sections together and then the final row, and we will come back to this video and I will show you how to do the horizontal lines of the front panel of the pillow. Now, something I may or may not have touched on, after you created the border for each of your squares, weave in the ends, that way it's cleaned up and you don't have anything to address moving forward in your project. You don't have a ton of overwhelming ends to weave in. If you can clean those up as you go, it just helps to make it not so daunting at the end of the project. However, because this is a pillow and you're not going to see the other side of it, some people do just leave their ends unwoven and they allow the inside of the pillow to be kind of the mess of everything. It's your choice on what you want to do. It's your pillow. Okay, go ahead and move on, and I'll see you in a second for us to start working the horizontal lines. Great, we are now ready to do the horizontal joins. So let's go ahead and begin the same way that we began working our vertical joins, starting with the tail long enough for us to weave in our ends. Come to our squares, slip stitching into the back loop only of both second single crochet stitches in the corner here. So slip stitch to attach our yarn, chain one, and then single crochet back into that same loop that we just slip stitched into. Okay, keep going and I will meet you right here where we need to hop over this join to help everything lay flat. Okay, this last stitch, this is the same second single crochet stitch or middle single crochet stitch. We're actually going to go ahead and come at it now, joining these two squares together and that last middle single crochet stitch right there, and that will help all four sides of this corner to feel closed so that there's no gaps going on. Okay, so now I'm here right next to that center join. I'm going to chain one to hop over it, then come back to that second or middle single crochet stitch of this square, and then the second middle crochet stitch of this square, and continue on. And when I do that, and I just honestly continue on going further up, let me go past it so you can see how that that intersection looks. I want to get far enough here. Okay, so I'll go ahead and do that. Now look at that. It lays flat. Isn't that beautiful? That one chain that we chained to hop over this intersection was just enough to allow everything to lay flat, and it looks very clean. And that's how we are going to hop over every single intersection for every single horizontal row that we are going to be joining here on out. So feel free to now join all of the horizontal sections all the way through, and I will meet back up with you to show you how we will then work the back panel. I mean, right from the start, I just love how this is looking. I could literally see this be a blanket, a throw, a lapgan. Don't have to just make this a pillow. This would be really pretty. Okay, so this is the front panel. I haven't woven in any of my ends. It's still very raw, but I'm gonna go ahead and set it off to the side. We're gonna focus on the back panel. Now the back panel I've already created. It's just single crochet stitches, guys. That's it. So you're gonna wanna bring out your measuring tape for the back panel. My pillow form is 18 inches wide, remember? So I'm gonna have my measuring tape here, and I'm going to way extend it so I can see the full 18 inches, and then I'm going to chain. The number of stitches doesn't really matter as long as you are meeting dimension of the pillow, okay? So you're going to chain until you have hit 18 inches. Then single crochet stitch in every stitch, single crochet in the second chain from your crochet hook, and then make one single crochet in every stitch across, and then just keep on every row, chain one single crochet in every stitch space. That is the entire pattern for this back panel. My pillow was 18 inches, so I ended up chaining 54 chains, and that is using all of the materials that I used, the size 4 weight yarn, the crochet hook size H8. I chained 54 chains, and then I had 53 stitches in every single row, and I worked up 70 rows. After 2 rows, double check your measurement to make sure you have hit that 18-inch mark. You may need to stretch it a little bit as you work. It's going to kind of come in because the stitches are tight, especially if you have a tight stitch, a tight tension. And then you're going to want to make sure it hits dimension lengthwise as well. And for me, that was chaining 54 and then making 70 rows. Okay, so I have my panel. It's going to look like that. And what I want to do before I attach this panel to the front panel, the back panel to the front panel, is I want to go ahead and make a 1 single crochet border, one row or 1 round border around this pillow so I can clean up the sides of my pillow. That way it's easier for me to join the 2 panels together. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do exactly the same thing with this panel that I did with one of these squares. So if I'm not going to show you how I put a border around this, I'm going to use the orange. That way I'm staying color to color. Everything is consistent. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick, and then we're going to come back and join the 2 panels together. So exciting. Are you having fun? Are you guys enjoying this? I hope you're having fun. Last up, guys, we are almost done. I'm so proud of you for getting this far. Last thing we're gonna do is just join the front panel and the back panel. The side of the panel, the back panel that we want facing upward is the wrong side. Now you might be like, Tiffany, they're identical. How do I know what the difference is between the right side and the wrong side of this back panel? Look at the border. That's going to be your surefire indicator on what side you're looking at. If you're looking at the border and you see the V stitches, then you're looking at the front side of the panel or the right side. If you flip the panel over and you come back and you look at that same exact border, but you cannot see the V stitches are facing down, then you're looking at the back of the work or the wrong side of the panel. So we want the back of the work or the wrong side of the panel to be facing upward here. And then I want to lay my front panel on top like this, so the inside of the pillow is going to stay on the inside. Okay, now generally we would want to join our work inside out and then flip it so that the sides would be really pretty. In this case though, I want to make sure that the right side of the work is facing outward because I want to continue this beautiful single crochet join along the edges of the pillow to really kind of square off these edge squares. I want to have this beautiful green border all the way around and make everything just tie together. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and only join 3 sections. Then I'm going to insert the pillow into that last fourth section, that last fourth side, and then we will join the 4th side after we insert the pillow. Super important. There's no zipper here. There's no way of opening the pillow after we've sealed it. We're sealing this pillow shut. We're going to go ahead and repeat the single crochet back loop only join. If you're doing what I'm doing, if you're doing a different join, then repeat the same join you did to join your squares together to join the back panel and the front panel together. So starting on the bottom corner, 3 single crochets, second middle, go from the top to the bottom, come to the other side, go from the bottom to the top or the back to the front. Start with a slip stitch just to attach the yarn to the work. Slip stitch, perfect. Chaining 1, single crocheting in that exact same 2 loops that we did to join to begin. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and go. Now the only difference here with this join opposed to what we did here is in our corners. When we get to our corners of our pillows, we're working all back loop onlys. When we get to the 3 single crochet of the corners, in that second or middle corner, make 3 single crochet stitches. That'll help you smoothly get to the other side. Okay, in fact, I'll go ahead and work my way up to that first corner so I can show you to make sure you got it. And then you'll repeat that same thing for this corner here and this corner here. Oh, actually guys, I want to pause for a second. I'm gonna interrupt this jump in the video to that first join, show you how I get across this join here, so that way there's no questions at all. You got this covered. I'm going to go ahead and insert my crochet hook into that second middle single crochet stitch. That is the last stitch here of this join. So insert there. Next. Okay. I'm going to hop over this join. I'm not going to make any stitch inside this green join here. I'm going to find the second or middle single crochet on this side and insert my crochet hook. And that will go into the next stitch space. And keep everything even keel. Okay, so when we get to that part, that's how we're going to join the two panels together, getting over this join right here. All right, just wanted to make sure I answered any and all potential possible questions. So you got this. All right, keep going. All right, interjecting here one more time before I get to the corner, because as I was approaching the corner here, I noticed that the back side of my work seemed to have a little bit more room than the front side. So there may be a few more rows or a few more stitches in my back panel than there was my front panel. Now, if that happens and you're getting to that last square here, align the corners because those are the most important to align, and then kind of just try to flatten everything you can. And if you have to put 2 stitches in 1 stitch space to just close everything, join everything, and allow it to lay flat, go ahead and do that. So I had to do that back here. Let me go ahead and go back a little bit. So aligning my corners here, I noticed that I had a little bit more room here in the back. So I'm going to go ahead and join and pinch. This is where stitch markers could really come in handy. You got them if you need them. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go back into this same stitch space here, but I'm going to come through the next stitch space over on the back and single crochet, and then next stitch space here, go straight through. I'm still having a little bit of a warp, so I'm going to go back into that same stitch space on the front, come through the next stitch space on the back. And by doing that, it will allow the work to slowly start to come back together, especially since we kept it dimensionally and on track for the most part, making sure that, 18 inches, everything was staying in line there. It shouldn't be so far off that it's not recoverable. And that's just a little trick that might help you if you run into this issue. Awesome, guys. We are approaching that first corner here. So here I've got 1, 2, 3 single crochets. So I'm going to go ahead and enter into that second middle single crochet on both sides. I'm going to make 1 same stitch space, 2 same stitch space, 3, and then turn. And continue on, just like we did for the rest of the work. So now you know how I work my corners, finding that second single crochet of the corner and making 3 single crochet stitches to join those 2 sides together, and it helps to smoothly transition us to the next side. Okay, so you should have all of my tips, tricks on how to hop over the joins and how we attach the stitches next to the join to the back of the work. You also know to keep the back panel and the front panel in line with each other, and if you have more stitches in one than the other, how you can adjust by making multiple stitches in the same stitch space to level everything out, and you know how to get around the corners. I'm going to go ahead and let you go, and I'm going to meet up with you in this bottom corner on the other side, leaving the bottom open. We want to leave the bottom open. We're going to pause there to insert the pillow. Oh my gosh, you guys are doing awesome. You're rock stars, man. This is going to be great. Okay, all right, guys, I am just absolutely loving this border on the edge of the pillow, how it's just cleaning everything up and tying everything together. It's looking great. But I did notice something when I just looked at this. I noticed that this orange border actually kind of continues on. And I don't want that. I want there to be a very clean green break here. So I'm going to end up taking all of my tails and I'm going to be joining them into the border to create that clean break here in the corner. And I'll probably do the same thing here, and with all of the tails, bring them into the border for a clean break, and then weave them in to clean everything up. Just saw that, wanted to point that out. Okay, we are now on to inserting our pillow form into the pillow. And last side, and then we're done. You know what to do. We're so close to being done, guys. This is so exciting. And last stitch. Boom, slip stitch into the first single crochet stitch. There, scissors, tail, tie off, boom. Last thing to do is just weave in my ends. I'm not going to weave in the ends in this video. I will, however, direct you to my video on many different ways to weave in your ends. If you don't have one that is working very well for you, check out the video. There's a couple different ideas. Play with them, see if there's one that you really like. But yeah, last thing would be to weave in all these ends, but then you're done. All right, guys, what do you think of the pumpkin pillow? I honestly surprised myself with this one. I had so much fun with this project and the colors and everything. It's something I'm going to be very proud to lay out around the house to decorate for the fall season every year. I'm very excited that I finally made a decor piece for a fall season, and it turned out so well. I hope you like it. I hope you had so much fun. If you did, please push that thumbs up button. It's great feedback for me to let me know that you enjoyed this video. If you haven't yet, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss my upcoming videos. There's some great ones. We're gonna have some fun. Also, I have a membership program if you'd like to take a peek, if you want some more out of my channel. I have a couple levels there for you to pick from. If you liked this video, I have other home decor videos that you can check out. Check out my playlist I've created just for you right here. Gosh, I have so much fun crocheting with you guys. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. I'll see you with the next one. Bye.